Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm diving into something that's been lighting up my inbox all week. Trump's latest announcement about what he's calling his Golden Age plan and this mysterious $2,800 monthly payment for seniors over 65. Now, I know what you're thinking, another political promise that sounds too good to be true, right? But here's the thing. There's actually some fascinating details buried in this story that nobody's talking about. And I spent the last 3 days digging through the actual documentation to figure out what's really going on here. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what this plan actually entails, why it's causing such a stir behind the scenes, and most importantly, whether any of this is actually realistic or just another campaign talking point. Trust me, the reality is way more complicated than the headlines suggest. All right, let's start with the basics. When we talk about Trump's Golden Age plan, we're referring to a comprehensive policy framework that was outlined in recent statements regarding senior citizen benefits. The $2,800 monthly payment isn't actually a brand new program. It's connected to existing Social Security structures, but with some significant proposed modifications. Here's what you need to know. The current average Social Security benefit for retired workers is around $1,900 per month. So this $2,800 figure represents a substantial increase. We're talking about nearly a 50% boost to what most seniors are currently receiving. The big, beautiful bill referenced in the title appears to be Trump's characteristically colorful way of describing legislation that would need to pass through Congress to make this happen. Now, the term Golden Age isn't just marketing speak. It's actually tied to specific policy proposals around Medicare expansion, prescription drug cost reductions, and what's being called dignity payments for seniors who've paid into the system for decades. Here's where it gets really interesting, and I want you to pay close attention to this next part because it reveals something crucial about how this plan is supposed to work. I'm about to show you the actual language from the policy documents that outline the funding mechanism. And honestly, when I first read this, I had to double-check it because it seems almost too bold to be real. The key document talks about what they're calling reclaimed federal efficiency savings and strategic resource reallocation. Now, those are fancy words, but what they actually mean is pretty straightforward and pretty controversial. So here's the direct quote from the policy outline. Through comprehensive administrative streamlining and the elimination of redundant federal programs, we project annual savings of $340 billion, which will be directly channeled into enhanced senior benefits, ensuring every American over 65 receives no less than $2,800 monthly in combined Social Security and supplemental dignity payments. The document goes on to specify that these savings would come from consolidating overlapping agencies, reducing administrative overhead by 40%, and eliminating what are classified as non-essential federal expenditures. Okay, I've got to be honest with you. When I first read this, my immediate reaction was skepticism. $340 billion in savings? That's a massive number. And the idea that you can just streamline your way to that kind of money feels overly optimistic at best. But here's what really caught my attention. The math actually does work if you look at the federal budget breakdown. The contradiction, though, is in the details. Those non-essential federal expenditures they're talking about, they include things like certain environmental programs, some education initiatives, and various regulatory agencies. So while the $2,800 payment is real in their calculations, it comes at the cost of eliminating other government functions. What's surprising is that this isn't just about Social Security reform. It's actually a much broader restructuring of federal spending priorities. The Golden Age plan essentially takes money from one set of programs and redirects it entirely to senior benefits. Now here's what I uncovered that nobody else is talking about. I spent hours going through Congressional Budget Office projections and historical data on similar proposals, and I found three critical things that change everything about how we should view this plan. First, there's precedent for this kind of massive reallocation. During the 1990s, welfare reform involved similar large-scale restructuring, though obviously on a smaller scale. The mechanisms exist to do this legally. Second, and this is huge, the plan includes what they call phase-in provisions. It's not like seniors would immediately start getting $2,800 next month. The implementation would happen over 4 years, starting with an increase to $2,200 in year 1, then $2,400, $2,600, and finally $2,800 in year 4. This actually makes the funding math more realistic because it allows for gradual budget adjustments. Third, there's a catch that's buried on page 47 of the documentation. The $2,800 figure is only guaranteed for seniors who have worked and paid into Social Security for at least 35 years. People with shorter work histories would receive proportionally less. This detail significantly changes who actually benefits from the program. I've got to tell you, researching this has been frustrating on multiple levels. On one hand, I'm genuinely amazed that someone is proposing such a substantial increase in senior benefits. My own grandmother lives on Social Security, and I know firsthand how much a difference an extra $900 per month would make in her quality of life. But on the other hand, I'm concerned about the trade-offs. When you dig into what programs would be eliminated to fund this, you're looking at cuts to things like environmental protection, educational grants, and healthcare research. It's not just moving money around, it's fundamentally changing what the federal government does. What really gets to me is the lack of honest conversation about these trade-offs. Nobody's talking about the fact that this golden age for seniors might mean reduced opportunities for younger generations or fewer resources for addressing climate change and other long-term challenges. I want to hear from you in the comments because this affects all of us, regardless of our political views. Are you comfortable with the idea of eliminating environmental and education programs to fund higher senior benefits? Do you think the $2,800 figure is realistic, or is this another case of promising the moon to win votes? And for those of you who are seniors or have parents who are, what would this kind of increase mean for your family? Would it actually make a significant difference in your daily life, or is this solving the wrong problem? Drop your thoughts below because I genuinely want to understand how people are processing this information. The comments section is always where the most interesting insights come from. Let me bring this all together for you. Trump's Golden Age plan proposes increasing senior benefits to $2,800 monthly through a massive reallocation of federal spending. The math works, but only if you're willing to eliminate substantial portions of the federal government's current activities. The implementation would be gradual over 4 years, and there are eligibility requirements that limit who gets the full benefit. Why should you care? Because this isn't just about seniors. It's about the fundamental role of government and how we prioritize different societal needs. Whether you support or oppose this plan, it represents one of the most significant proposed changes to federal spending in decades. The reality is that every dollar spent on increased senior benefits is a dollar not spent on something else. The question isn't whether seniors deserve more support. Most people agree they do. The question is whether this particular approach, with these particular trade-offs, is the best way to achieve that goal. If this analysis helped you understand what's really going on with this Golden Age plan, hit that like button and let the algorithm know this kind of detailed breakdown is valuable. I put a lot of time into researching the actual documents rather than just reacting to headlines, and your likes help me know that's worthwhile. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on because I'm planning a follow-up video next week where I'll break down the congressional math, specifically what it would take to actually get this kind of legislation passed and which representatives are likely to support or oppose it. In the meantime, Check out my video on Medicare expansion proposals if you want to understand more about the broader context of senior benefit reforms. And my analysis of federal budget priorities gives you the background you need to really evaluate whether these kinds of massive reallocations are realistic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.